at the right time. Hello and welcome to Hot Money on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts and technical analyst Fidai, Amit Shah of Indiabulls Ventures, and Aditya Agarwala of Securities join me on the show right now. But before we start with the show with our experts, let's go across to Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on SRF. Yash, what does this chart indicate?
Morning, Darshan. So SRF clearly a sell signal coming in on the back of the proprietary Bloomberg indicator, which is the trend indicator. So we saw a big drop in yesterday's day of trade. This is the big red candle, and the green line over here, that is the trend line. So basically it flipped its color to red today after the stock managed to close below the trend line following that big drop today. And we are seeing that even today the stock is under some bit of selling pressure down in today's day of trade. Another 40 rupees gone on the stock, so we could expect some downside as far as the trender indicator goes.
Okay, so if you backtest this, Yash, what has been the success ratio every time the tide turned on the trender?
So 3 out of the last 5 times that the trender indicator has turned negative, it would have given you a positive return on an average of close to 11% over the next 1 month.
Okay, so that's quite a bit as far as the index is concerned. Thank you so much on SRF. Let me start with you, Enes. SRF has been rather weak on Monday. Also, a big drop coming in. Is there a downtrend or a breakdown that you're seeing here?
SRF has always been since May. It has fallen big time always. Though the rise have been there, the rise is not quite means you can say powerful. It is very weak, and every time the fall has been very strong. Yesterday, or that is day last trading day, it fell with very huge volumes also, which is not a very good sign. And the stock can do bottom of around 1720-ish in this downturn. That would be a good area to accumulate, but right now it's a sell.
Okay, it's a sell that's coming in. Amit, what did you make of SRF?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the near-term momentum is definitely on the downside. And the kind of large candles that it's been making, it shows, quite weak sentiment in the near term. Though overall trend is still fine, but in the very near term, I think it's headed towards 1800, 1820 kind of levels. One can look at, pullbacks towards 1990, 2000 kind of zone to actually create short positions in the near term.
Okay, Aditya, similar trends? Are you negative on SRF?
Yes, the stock is definitely negative, no doubt about that. My downside target will be 1885 immediately,
okay.
Which is very near to the CMP that it is trading right now. So I would agree, I would sell the stock on pullback to around 1990 to about 2000 levels. On pullbacks, yes, it's a sell, and stock can slide all the way down to 1885, and if it breaks 1885, targets could be as low as 1750.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on SRF. Just to put into perspective, the fundamental news why SRF has been tracking is because Ambit came out with a note on Monday indicating that they believe that the third quarter numbers will be extremely weak. The chemical segment, wherein margin expectation was almost 20%, that will come in anywhere between 13 to 14%. The technical, textile and the packaging division also expected to report weak set of numbers. So that was the Ambit sales note that came out. But nevertheless, SRF has cracked in trade. Let's start with the first round. Fidai has a bearish call on Colgate. Remember, in the morning today on Bloomberg Edge, we also had a negative call. Yash did that link on Colgate. So it seems that there seems to be a breakdown that's happened on SRF on Colgate. But NS, what's your view? Are you positive or negative on Colgate?
I put this trend line here, and the stock has been actually respecting this trend line very, you can say very well always. Whenever it touches this trend line, it takes a fall from there.
Okay.
And right now also, actually the stock has come and touched the trend line, and it has taken a beating. Today also it is a bit down, and I expect the stock to go up to 1275.
Okay.
Okay. If it falls below 1270, then you can expect it even go to 1200 rupees approximately up to here.
Okay.
So this is the panorama shot. We can have another chart. We have one more chart, I suppose. Yeah. So if you see the short term chart, in the short term, it is making a rising wedge. Now rising wedge, if you see, it is respecting this line, again same in extreme short term, and the price is unable to cross this area.
Okay.
And today also it has gone below this. Now any opportunity, if it comes around 1330, that would be the best opportunity to go short. But right now also one person can go short and keep a provision to go shorter on the higher side also.
Okay.
With resistance around 1360-ish, you can do that, and below 1275 it can come down all the way up to 1200 or 1180 also.
Okay. What's the stop loss? 1360 is the...
60-ish, yeah.
If that is broken out,
You can say 1350 and should be good enough.
So if let's say someone is short here and if the counter goes up to 13,650 or 60, should they reverse the position into longs for Colgate? Does it do a break?
I wouldn't advise that, because that would be purely for extreme short term. Rather, it would be a false breakout on the upside.
Okay.
Because the current market situation is not very supportive. If markets are in bull phase and stock also is running along with that, then it would be a good idea to do that.
Okay, so it's a short trade coming in on Colgate. Thank you so much for that, NS. Amit, Colgate, are you positive or are you negative?
I have a different view on it. So I think the stock is quite strong. And I would actually wait for a dip towards 1270 kind of a zone to actually go long on the stock.
Okay.
So at this point of time, I would just wait it out for a dip to buy the stock. But overall, the trend is quite positive. So I would not want to short this stock.
Okay, it's a wait and watch for you. Aditya, what do you do on Colgate?
There is weakness in the stock which is seen for the last couple of trading sessions. On the weekly chart, if I take a look at the stock, it is forming a bearish engulfing pattern at the top of the trend. So that is one sign that the uptrend is slightly weakening. Okay. However, it has good strong support around 1290 levels. So I will wait for the stock to break 1290 levels. If the stock starts to trade below 1290 on a consistent basis and volumes pick up on the downside on the corrections, then yes, I'll go short on the stock and stock can slide further lower. If it manages to hold on to 1290, I will not go short. So it is a short only below 1290.
Okay, so at this point of time, it's a wait and watch.
It's a wait and watch.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on the first stock. Two of our guests will do a wait and watch approach on Colgate. NS is saying that you should short at this level and short at higher levels also. So that's the view that's coming in on Colgate. Let's get in the second stock, and that is something that Amit is betting against, and that is Tata Elxsi. Let's pull up the chart. Which is the technical indicator that you have used, Amit, and why are you bearish on Tata Elxsi?
Sure. So frankly, it's not more of indicators, it's more of a price action which suggests, So Tata Elxsi has been consolidating for a long time. So, it's been in a sideways fashion, and, the broader markets are also now weakening. Even if you see the US markets, we were not reacting to the US markets initially, but now we have even started to weaken in the near term. So, along with the overall view.
No, I think that's the wrong chart. I think it's the next chart.
Yeah.
We will wait for it.
Sure.
I'll tell my. Okay, yeah. Right.
So, it's a very initial breakdown that the stock is seeing. Also, the IT index is not showing good signs. So, probably this is a good setup for someone to go short on the stock.
What's the target?
Sure.
What's the stop loss that you take? It's currently at 980.
Sure, 1 second. Yeah, so I'm expecting a target of about 900 on the stock. Okay. So one can even short now, or even wait for pullback towards 985, 990 kind of a region to short sell the stock. The stop loss is 1016 in the near term. So expecting a decent downside.
No, but why are you so bearish? You're saying it could see another 80-point downtick.
Yes.
What's the indicator that is showing you that there could be such a big drop that could come in?
Sure.
And how soon do you expect that to come in?
Generally, as I said, it's been sideways for quite some time. So there's the focus here is mainly on the price action than the indicators. It's mainly the price action, and now it's been holding this downside trend line for quite some time. Here also it just had a small breakdown, but then again it went into the
that's
pattern.
what I'm asking, because
Yes.
if you see it's managing to hold on to this line,
Correct.
there also it's reversed back. So
Correct.
that's why I'm saying there's a high possibility it could go back, but what gives you the indication it could go down?
Yeah, so today's, there was a first hour of the candle was a bearish one, and it's a place where it gives you you that initial sign of a breakdown. Yes, possibly it is possible that this could be a false breakdown and it then again moves up, but the risk reward is very much in favor, and it's showing that early sign. See, whenever stocks they do come out of consolidation, you need to make a bet at the first initial signs of breakout or breakdowns, basically.
Okay, so that's the view on Tata Elxsi. Thank you so much for it. I think it's moved to the lowest point of the day. Aditya, would you short Tata Elxsi?
Not at current levels. So the stock is mainly moving in a triangle pattern. If you closely look at it on the weekly chart, it's making a triangle pattern. There are signs that the stock will break down from the triangle pattern. It's more of a follow through that will happen post a breakdown from the triangle pattern. But the breakdown level is close to about 965. So I'll wait for the stock to start to trade below 965, because that is one zone you clearly seen from the chart as well. From the lower end of the triangle, stock tends to bounce back. So if the moment stock starts to trade comfortably below that triangle, which is 965, I'm comfortable in going short. And yeah, stock can slide drastically lower if it breaks and stays below 965.
Okay, Ines, what's your view on Tata Elxsi?
I would go aggressively short, rather, I would say, and keep a stop loss at 101718.
Okay, similar to what?
Yeah, and I expect if the stock goes down below 950, it can even drop to 868.
Okay.
So that could be quite a big fall over there.
Okay, so I think it's a consensus negative call that's coming in. Aditya would say that it would be a wait and watch at this point of time, and only below a certain level, 960, right, Aditya? 960, would he go short on it? The other guests are indicating a short on the level, on the counter, with a stop loss of 101612 to 1018. That's the level that's coming in on Tata Elxsi. Now we have a bullish bet that's coming in, and that is on Jet Airways. So we've had 3 sell calls now. This is the first buy call that we're having. Remember, and Jet Airways comes out of the F&O ban, so the activity pretty much will be higher. Aditya, what's the
so if you take a look at the chart, clearly stock has been on a one-way decline from about 900 odd levels, and this is the first time that we have seen some buying which has been seen from around sub below 200 levels to about 180, and the stock made a big up move in the previous month, and from there it's fallen back into a consolidation channel, falling channel pattern. Now, 2 things to observe here clearly are that the stock has taken support at 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level from this up move to this down move to the up move that we taken place. Now, in technical, 61.8% is a very crucial level. If the stock manages to hold on to these levels and bounce back from those levels, it shows that the bulls are coming back into the stock. Okay. So around these support levels of 61.8%, bulls are showing some buying action that is taking place, and more so it's getting into this falling channel consolidation. It's not yet broken out from the channel. 265 will be a confirmation. If it closes above 265 channel, it will be a confirmed breakout, and then the stock will resume its upward momentum and can head to levels of 315 as well. Along with that, I'm also looking at the RSI. RSI has taken support at the 40 level, which happens to be the lower end of the bull zone. Okay. From there, this RSI has turned up. So 2 important things to notice is price has taken support at 61.8% and RSI has taken support at 40 level. These 2 are confirmations that the downtrend is losing momentum and the uptrend can resume anytime soon. And the major play for airline companies are the crude oil. And we've seen the way the crude oil prices have fallen. Last week, rather, it fell below $50 as well. The Brent was below $50. So that can augur well for the stock as well. I will go ahead and buy even at current levels. And if it breaks above 265, I'll add on to it. Targets out here could be 290, 315. I'll put a stop loss just below this 61.8%, which is 240 odd levels. So the risk to reward is definitely in favor of going long in the stock, and there can be a good short covering rally which we can see.
Okay, and do you expect this to be a short-term trade or a long-term?
Probably a short-term trade, because it's more driven on the crude oil prices. So if crude oil starts to go up anytime soon, and if it starts to jump, then probably we can see a drop in the. So it's more of a short-term play.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Thank you so much for that, Aditya. Amit, Jet Airways, would you go long on it? It's trading pretty much at the day's high.
Yes. So after the big fall that the stock has been seeing from 360 plus kind of levels, it's been kind of settling down in the near term. I think a move about 265, 267 kind of a zone. So I would buy the stock on a strength. So yes, the view is positive, but I will still wait for some momentum to build up before buying into the stock.
Okay, so 265 pretty much similar level to what Aditya said. Ines, what would you agree?
I would be like, means I expect the maximum upside is 280-ish right now. Okay. And on the downside, I would prefer to buy this around 240-ish. Okay. And keep a stop loss below 233.
Okay. So you wouldn't buy now? You'd buy?
No, I wouldn't buy now, right now.
Okay. So that's the view that's coming in on Jet Airways at this point of time. Let's move on to the second round. NS now recommends selling Union Bank this time around. Is the second sell call from him. Again, what's the rationale? What is the indicator that you have used, and what's the logic?
Well, I use mostly plain indicators. So here I have seen, like, you see this trend line, which is resisting quite strongly, and the stock is unable to cross that. There is a 200 DEMA resistance around this area also.
Okay.
And if you see, there is a horizontal resistance around this. So there is multiple resistances around this area, and the stock today has reacted also around 2% down since yesterday. Okay, last closing, and I believe there would be a momentum on the downside, and the stock can fall up to 73-ish.
Okay.
So, if you see, this is the support for the stock where it should take rest, and then maybe probably it will build up for next rally. So for the short term, extreme short term, within 1 to 3 weeks, we can have very good correction up to this area, and that would be a good risk reward for us, almost more than 10%.
Would you short at these levels?
Yeah, I would like to short at this level, even keep a provision to go short higher up to 84, keep a stop loss at 85 plus 86 somewhere. So that should hold.
And are you seeing this as a short-term trade or
extreme short-term? Within 1 to 2 weeks, that is.
1 to 2 weeks. Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Union Bank. Thank you.
See here also, if you see this, if you put a trend line here, it has also breached that.
Okay.
So seriously, it is already given a signal of sell.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Amit, Union Bank shorting opportunity?
No, actually, PSU banks are showing some relative strength. Of course, markets are weak as well. But, in the near term, I think there's a support around 78, 79 kind of a zone. So, I think downside may be limited, even if there's a small 2 days of consolidation breakdown, but I think that should be just a small trading move on the downside. So, the supports are also near. It has given some bullish pattern formation on the weekly as well. So I would not like to go and short the stock.
Okay, fair enough. That's your point. And Aditya, what about you?
If I short, it will be a risky trade. The risk to reward, for me, the stop loss will be 84.5, because if it crosses that upper trend line resistance of 84.5, it's headed higher. On the downside, as Amit pointed out, strong supports at 78.5 to about 76 zone. So for me, the risk to reward is 1:1. Probably I will, even if I have to go short, I'll keep a tight stop at 85, 84.5. There's not too much of an inclination to go short.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Union Bank. NS is saying go short on it, but the other two guests are saying it's a wait and watch approach for them. The second stock that Amit has picked is PC Jewelers. Let's pull up the chart, Amit. What's the rationale behind it? What's the indicator that you've used, and why are you negative on it?
Sure. So, see, overall the stock is in a strong downtrend. This was the phase that we saw the recovery of the very, very sharp fall that we had seen. Then again a consolidation. Now this leg of the up move did not actually, there were chances that it could have again continued the short-term positive trend, but in the near term it has gone into a consolidation and now in a very, very initial stage of breaking down. So yes, once it convincingly starts trading below 80 zone, then we have a breakdown which overall confirms the overall strong downtrend that the stock is in. This is anyway, this kind of stock typically tends to have sharper downfalls. So I think once if you can catch the right move, there's a strong possibility of a.
So it's at 80 currently, 80.10.
Correct. Yeah.
Are you shorting it on closing basis or intraday basis?
No, on an intraday basis also a break below 80 is a sell for the targets of 74 and 70 on the downside. So it's on the verge of possibly breaking down. It's meandering around its consolidation range, but once it convincingly trades below that, I think there's a possibility of a sharp downfall in the stock.
Okay, so are you giving any provisions for shorting it at a higher level?
No, I would actually want this range to break down. It's been trading in this tight range, and overall, this move is not continuing on the upside, even to break that previous top. So a breakdown here would mean that the entire move there has also been completed, and anyway, the stock has been in a strong downtrend. So it's a continuation of the trend, basically.
Okay, so fair enough. Still below 80, we are pretty much at that level. We'll watch on it. NS, so would you short PC Jewelers?
Seriously, I wouldn't short, but it has a support around 77 and 75. So those are the areas where, like, you know, probably this could take a support. If it breaks those areas, then maybe it will go to 65. Then I would be interested in selling it.
Okay, what about you, Aditya?
Similar opinion. Stock has good support around 75 odd levels. So I'll go ahead and short at current levels. I don't mind shorting at current levels. But my immediate target will be around 75. And the stop loss will be, I'll place a stop loss at today's high, which is around 82.5. Because if it takes out today's high, then probably stock can see some bit of a rally. It's more of a consolidation that the stock has gone into post a sharp up move that it had seen a couple of weeks back. But yeah, for me, if the downside is there till 75, I'll close out my shorts around 75.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. The stock that the last stock, at least from our expert, is on Jubilant Foodworks. Aditya, you have a call on Jubilant Foodworks. Remember, the counter is down almost 5% in today's trade. Managed to recover significantly from the lows of the day, but what's the indicator that you've used and why you bearish?
It's managed to recover. Actually, it's almost hit today's the first target of 1040, and from the 1140 from there it's recovered. What is clearly visible from the chart is it's making a rising wedge. It's more of a bearish wedge pattern, and if you see clearly, it's taken support at the lower end of the wedge, which was my first target around 1140, and from there stock has managed to bounce back a little bit. But if it breaks this level of 1140, then I expect a further downside in the stock and can test levels of easily 980 and below that as well. Along with that, if I take a Fibonacci from the high, so the lows, it is facing resistance close to about 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, which is this level, and from there stock has started to go down. So in technical terms, we call this a AB is equal to CD pattern, which is a bearish indication. So this was the AB leg, and this is the BC leg, and this is the CD leg, which will resume. So the BC leg exactly took resistance at 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, and from there stock has started to go down. We're just waiting for a breakdown below 1140. If it breaks down below 1140, the stock can see further downside to 980 as well.
Okay.
Plus RSI, it failed to cross the resistance mark of 60, which is the upper end of the bear territory. From there, the RSI has fallen southwards, and the stock has also started to tumble. So the stock has managed to recover a little bit. I will go ahead and short even at current levels, because on the daily chart, stock has already broken down from a trendline support, which is an indication that the further downside will continue. So close about 1190, I think the stock is trading right now. I'll go ahead and short the stock even at current levels. Again, put a target of 1140, and if it breaks 1140, target will be 980.
What's the stop?
1250 will be my stop loss. If it crosses 1250, I'll be out of the trade.
Okay, that's the view. So short call coming on Jubilant Foodworks. Thanks so much for that. Amit, Jubilant Foodworks, what would you do?
Sure. Even I agree with him that it's a wedge breakdown. So generally, stocks coming out of a wedge, they generally tend to fall very, very sharp. So I would wait. Possibly we can have a pullback towards 1230, 1235 kind of a zone. I would actually go ahead and short the stock around these levels with a stop about 1260. This stock, if the pattern holds out true, this stock can test levels of even 1000 on the downside.
Okay, so negative call. NS, agree?
Yeah, absolutely agree, because even though today, it has fallen down, so we can't take a position right now. Rather, I would prefer to go short, as Amit said, on the rise around 1230-ish, with a stop loss around 1252, 1253. That should be good enough. And if stock gains momentum, it has a possibility. It always shows big moves. So yeah, it can even go below 1000 rupees if it finds momentum there.
Okay, so it's a consistent and negative call that's coming in on Jubilant Foodworks. Before we wrap on the show, Yash Upadhyay joins us again with a chart on Take Solution. Yash, what do you have for us?
Afternoon, Darshan. One more sell call coming in, and the formation of a bearish engulfing pattern on the charts is what is suggesting the sell signal. So we saw that the stock moved over the last 5 to 6 trading sessions, but today what has happened is that we've seen the formation of a big red candle. If we could zoom over here, we could see that the body of the red candle that has completely engulfed the one ahead of it, and that indicates that forms the bearish engulfing pattern, which indicates that there could be a downside, or maybe this could be a near-term top to its up move.
Okay, and if you back test it, Yash?
So the beauty of this is that over the last 1 year, every time that the indicator turned negative, you would have not lost money even once, because all 4 times it would have given you a positive return on an average of more than 24% over the next 1 month.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Take Solution. NS, any view on Take Solution?
Yeah, it has a, like, there is a possibility it can drop down to 139, 137. So I agree with Yash.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, if it starts trading, below 139, then yes, some downside in the near term towards, 125, 128 levels, but a small trading call, not too much downside maybe.
Aditya?
I'll wait for the stock to bounce back further. The stock has bounced back from the lows of the day. I'll wait for the stock to bounce to levels of 150, then probably look to exit from longs if any, or short on an intraday basis. You can't take it over. And on the downside, 140 will be my target, but a short will be around 150, not at current levels.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. We have all the calls that we have, but before we wrap, we'll ask our guest, since expiry is there tomorrow, what's the expiry view? Aditya, expiry, what should one do? Any stock or any on the Nifty also, if someone wants to take a trade at this point of time?
Nifty, I believe, has done, as far as the expiry is concerned. I don't see Nifty going below 10,500 or 550 levels. As far as the expiry is concerned, probably markets can expire in the range of 600 to about 550. Is that what I believe?
So any trade that they should, any call that they should buy? Should they buy the Nifty? Should they sell the Nifty? Or should they stay away?
They should stay away and probably take a fresh trade in the new expiry, and that will be a short trade. I believe markets can slide down to 10,300 on the downside.
Okay, Amit, any expiry trade?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, even I believe in the near term, the way we are behaving today, possibly, in the near term, the move is done with. One should look at some kind of bounce backs to sell the market. So a move towards 10,700 would be a good opportunity to sell on the rise.
Okay, NS, any expiry trade?
Well, I would prefer to buy a put option somewhere like around 10,500 or 400.
Okay.
They would give better rewards probably.
For this series only?
For this series also probably.
Okay, so you see another 200 point down?
Probably we can have
tomorrow.
Follow-up, tomorrow.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on, I guess, on the market itself. But with that, it's a wrap on today's Hot Money. NS, Aditya, Amit, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Print.